books, and they say, spin the wheel and tighten up the nut until you've taken up the free play. And then back it off to the nearest cotter pin hole. That's what the small Viking planes say. And so they were talking about 1 to 5 thousandths end play for many small bearings, and that will work. So take up the slack and back it off to the nearest hole. Now, when you get onto the heavier Cessnas, the heavier Cessna twins, they give a different procedure. And you spin it, you snug it down and take up the slack, and then you're going to go in the tightening direction to the next hole. And if you look in the other Timken stuff that I can't find now, they changed their website. You can't find a thing now. And it does mention that on all these bigger, heavier duty ones, like an airliner, or you're working on I don't know what about on the F-18s, what you torque the axle nuts to, but on some of these airplane ones, and the bigger, heavier airplane ones, they will give it a specific torque. And the engineers have figured out when the thing's at its operating temperature, with the full weight of the airplane on it, the bearing has good contact 225 degrees around the bottom of the circle, and it's unloaded right on that top portion. And the engineers have figured out a torque in a setting so you obtain that for best bearing life. They figured out when the thing heats up, it's at operating temperature, and with the load on the plane, since you have tapered roller bearings, things try to slide against one another. They've calculated it all out and come up with a specific procedure. I don't know, on the F-18s.
It's kind of similar to how we do it on the smaller aircraft, actually.
Uh-huh.
Like, you don't actually torque it down, from what I remember. You just tighten it.
Take up the slack.
Until it's tight and there's no end play.
Yeah.
And then you back it off like one flat.
Okay. And so they got the same way they do on the small Cessnas.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, that's interesting to hear. Yeah, okay.